What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports, Utah Jazz fans. Thank you for being here. If there are actually any Jazz fans in the house. And tonight, I'll be doing a play-by-play reaction live scoreboard for what's left of the San Antonio Spurs versus what's left of the Utah Jazz, because both teams are missing a ton of guys for the Spurs. I believe I saw Keldon Johnson is out, Devin Vassell's out, Jeremy Sohan's out. For the Jazz, I believe Jordan Clarkson's out. A few other players, a few other stars. I'm drawing a blank off the top of my head, but we're going to have essentially a G League game, possibly. And I believe this is the last game at the A&T Center this season. Could this be Pop's last game in the AT&T Center, period? I don't know. If you're like the sports channel, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Fast, free, fun, nutritious, and delicious. And as always. All right. Thank you all for being here. Hopefully we have a good game tonight. The Spurs have been blown out quite a bit lately. David Robinson's at the game. Veronica, I believe you are at the game, are you not? That is awesome. Hopefully the Spurs put on a good show for you tonight. Fingers crossed. Good evening, Spur of the Moment. Mars, Benjamin. You know, I'm going to try to cover as many Spurs games left in this season. I got really busy in, January, February, and the Spurs weren't playing too well. Life has settled down. I've found some free time, and I'm like, let me get back to doing what I love. If I'm watching the games anyway, might as well hang out with you guys and do a live stream on the old YouTubes. Hey, there's Mr. Robinson right there. The good old days. You know what they're doing? They're talking about the 68,323 people that went and saw the Spurs versus the Golden State Warriors back in January. Unfortunately, the Spurs did not play too well in that game. If I remember correctly, Golden State, didn't they blow us out? It's kind of hard to remember the blowout. It's not trying to be negative. The Spurs have lost by double digits more times than I would like to admit this season. But you know what? We all knew it would be a rough season. Well, some of us had our hopes up, myself included, when we started off, I believe, 5-2. I was like, oh, maybe these guys are actually not too bad. And then the wheels kind of fell off from there, and it's been just kind of a downward spiral since then. It is what it is. Spurs are wearing their city jerseys tonight, rocking the aqua. I got to think Zach Collins is starting, Trey Jones. After that, who the heck knows what Pop's doing tonight, and I have no idea who's starting for the Jazz. The Jazz, at the start of the season, were one of the best teams in the NBA, if I remember correctly. They were first in the Western Conference, and since then, as the season has progressed, much like the Spurs, their season has gone. It kills. We started off looking really good. I had high hopes. I was like, man, these young guys are coming along much quicker than I expected. When the Spurs were playing well, Jeremy Sohan was not really doing much yet. It is what it is. Going into next season, I think Jeremy will be clearly going to be a much better player than he was this year. Devin and Keldon, I gotta be honest, I'm on the fence with them. Are they the guys? Are they our locked in 3 and 4? Small forward and shooting guard? Or maybe not. Time will tell. Point guard's still a giant question mark. I think Zach Collins has got the center spot locked down for now, depending on his contract situation. Jeremy Sohan, I got to think, staying at power forward. But if they were to draft a Victor Wembanyama, could they go big, really big, and start Zach, Victor, Jeremy, Keldon, and Devin, and not having a true point guard? I don't know if that would help or hurt. There's no rule saying you need a true point guard to run the offense anymore, the way so many players are hybrid at the position. With the wing players. And so, I don't know. We'll see. Smash that thumbs up. Good evening. It's sad the Spurs' last 2 home games aren't even in San Antonio. They are in Austin. I thought that was what was up. Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights. Good evening. Cowboy X Factor. Good evening to you. Hopefully you are doing well. I'm glad I'm back doing content again. I was doing content for 2 months on various other this platform, but other stuff. But it's nice to be doing this again, even though the team has seen better days. You should do a Scuda video. Oh, you mean Scoot Henderson? I think we do end the season playing the Mavericks. It's kind of weird. The season ends with weekend games during the day. They're like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock games. When I take a look at the schedule, the last 2 games are April 8th, Saturday at 4 p.m. And then, as you mentioned, the Mavericks, April 9th at 3:30. Those are right in the middle of a weekend day, so those might be tough for me to call. I'm going to try to call Golden State Friday night at 10 o'clock. My plan is to. Should be noted I'm very sick today, so I'm surprised I made it on here tonight, but I soldiered through it. We play the Kings Sunday at 6. Might be able to do that. I want to do the Suns game April 4th. That's a late game at 10, whatever. We got the Blazers Thursday, April 6th at 8 p.m. I do want to do that. I might not do the Timberwolves game at 4 o'clock on Saturday, but I want to do the last game of the year. Just hang out, watch the game, talk about it, talk about the season as a whole, and then after that I can do my annual season report card at the end. It's going to be tough to grade this team. It's going to be very tough to grade this team, but it's all good. Thank you, Cowboy X Factor. If you can't call the game, I know who can. The Spurs and Jazz? Who else would call that? Good evening, Jazz Cordy. If we get the number 1 and draft Wemby, it wouldn't surprise me if Pop said, no way Victor Wembanyama goes to the G League. I'm intrigued. The injury stuff does scare me. If I stutter at all tonight, I am very much out of it. But Wemby is going to add such an interesting dimension to the team. And I think they probably would start him at power forward just because of how thin he is. Kind of like a Kevin Durant role, really tall, lanky guy. And if he can still healthy, man, this team would. I think they'd be an instant, at least play-in contender next year. 7th to 7th seed. And for my own, I've already told you guys, for my own channel, that would bring a lot of eyeballs to the Spurs. We haven't really had a lot of eyeballs since Kawhi left. And each year, as we've traded more and more players, Derek White, DeJounte Murray, Jakob Poeltl, Josh Richardson, the eyeballs are fading away. So they're talking about players with 15-plus points per game, 6-plus rebounds, 40-plus three-point percentage since February 10th. That's a very isolated stat. That being said, Zach Collins joins Kristaps Porzingis, Kawhi Leonard, and Steph Curry as the only players in the NBA averaging 15, 6, and 40%. It should be noted, Kristaps, Kawhi, and Stephen are all averaging 24 points per game or more, where Zach is averaging 16.5. So that's a really weird, isolated stat to kind of make the guy you want fit in that fit. If it was 20-plus points per game, he wouldn't be on that list. So I'm not a big fan of those type of stats. Manu didn't make the cut, Cowboy, and he would be a 6-man anyway. As much like Manu Ginobili, to not put George Gervin in the starting lineup at shooting guards, I feel like that would be criminal. Granted, I didn't get to see him play back in the day. That was before I was a Spurs fan. But not putting the Iceman in that all-time lineup, I had to put him in there. I had to do it. That would be a formidable front line, though. When you think David Robinson, we'll talk about the players in their prime. Prime Robinson, prime Duncan, and prime Leonard. You have 2 defensive players of the year in Robinson and Leonard, and a guy that probably should have won a defensive player of the year and has, I believe, one of the highest defensive win shares of all time in Tim Duncan. So that would be a very difficult front line to score on. The only question would be our backcourt, whereas Parker, not the greatest defender in the world. Gervin, didn't see him play. I've never heard great things about his defense. So who knows? If the co-winner had stayed, do you think we would have a couple more rings? Wemby and Sohan sounds good. It's hard to... Hindsight's always 20/20. He did win a ring immediately in Toronto. Would we have been good enough to take down the Golden State Warriors with Kawhi? A healthy Kawhi and company? I don't know. Especially when the Warriors got Durant. I don't see us taking that team down. So maybe not. Maybe 1 ring. But definitely not multiple. Minus Snowflake. Nice callback. Yeah, I saw a weird stat on Facebook. They put up like the Hawks' last 2 games, last 4 games, last 8 games, last 16 games, last 32 games. They're 500 all the way down the line. 1-1, 2-2, 4-4, 8-8, 16-16. They're just playing exact 500 ball. Good evening, a sports critic. I did see you are doing a members giveaway tonight on your channel, so good luck with that. Have fun, and I don't know. Hey, how did the Magic turn out last night? Did they end up losing by a lot, or did they come back? I honestly have no idea. Wow, that Seth Messer-Smith 4, Ravens fan, Bucks fan, Yankees fan. That is a long channel. Good evening. You saw the list of the Hawks 500? Okay. Yeah, that was ridiculous how they've just been 500. Magic lock. They did come back. All right. Mr. C, good evening. Hey, at least they fought. That's all I can ask for. My team has been losing their fair share of games this year. They're the third worst team in the NBA as of this statement. But you want to see your team fight. And 3 out of the Spurs' last 4 games, they lost by more than 30. I think they lost by 1 game 35, 1 game 36, and their most recent loss was by 44 on Sunday to the Celtics. That's unwatchable. I can't imagine being a fan of the NBA and just going and watching a game it's not even a game. It happened to me when I went to see the Spurs in Texas when they played the Phoenix Suns. They were down 30 at the half. I was like, what the heck is this? All right, for the Jazz, we got Walker Kessler, Simone Fontecchio, Juan Toscano Anderson, Ochai Agbaji, and Talon. Wow, this is not the starting lineup I thought they would be running tonight. So, okay. Jazz are missing a lot of players tonight. A lot of players. I'm going to have a really hard time calling this game, it looks like. Oh, boy. For the San Antonio Spurs, Zach Collins, Julian Champagnie, Keita Bates-Diop, Malachi Branham, and Trey Jones. Wow, that's a starting lineup. That is a starting lineup. Oh, boy. You know, maybe Selena could play for the Spurs. There she is. Hey, Amir, check this out. You didn't know I was doing this type of stuff now. Ready? Sucker! I got sound now. I got sound in my little videos. Players are on the court. Ball's tipped off. Jazz won the tip. And away we go. That's immediately a turnover for the Jazz. Spurs on a fast break. And Trey Jones with the layup, and the Spurs have the lead, 2-0. The G League Spurs versus the G League Jazz. Congratulations to Luka Samanic, who signed a 10-day contract with the New York Knicks. If you guys didn't, you didn't know? I'll give you a go, Spurs, go. Oof, that's a long 3, and that's good by, who was that? Talon Horton Tucker. I'm going to really struggle with this Jazz team tonight. Do they have any starters playing tonight? Any? KBD with the bucket. It's 4-3. KBD. Dang, dang, dang. Foul roll. It is empty in San Antonio. Empty. Baseline jumper is good by Simone Fontecchio. I don't know if I'm saying that right. 5-4. Zach Collins is open for 3. He pulls it down. Get it out to Trey Jones. Trey Jones backing to Zach Collins in the post. Collins backs his man up. Backs his man up. Backs his man up. Looks like he traveled. He did. You can only back your man up so many times and pick up the ball before the refs are going to be like, is THT a starter? Well, dude, they don't have many starters left. I guess Lauri Markkanen's out tonight because he's not in the starting lineup, so I'll pull him off my list. Jordan Clarkson's out. Colin Sexton's out. As I looked away, somebody scored another bucket for the Jazz, and it's 7-4. So will this makeshift lineup of the San Antonio Spurs beat this makeshift lineup by the Utah Jazz? Malachi Branham over to KBD. KBD navigating traffic. Takes off over to Trey Jones. Jones thinks about a three-pointer. Takes off, gets into the paint. Jones wheeling and dealing, slicing and dicing, pulls up for 2 and gets the J. Swish, kill the fish. Glazing Bacon, good evening. Champagne the GOAT. Sure. If you say so. Jazz ball. 9:43 to go. THT, because I'm THT. Fadeaway, sliding to his left. Three-pointer. What the what? 10-6. 9.5 to go. The Bulls beat the Lakers? I thought I heard about it. Will the sandwich play? I hope so. Malachi Branham doing a nice job getting to the paint. Throws up the reverse layup. It is good. And the Spurs are down 10-8. And now a steal. Trey Jones, fast break, layup, good. Spurs have tied the game. You gonna have a timeout? Timeout? Nope. I really hope the Lakers don't make the playoffs, but I'm pretty sure they are a lock to at least make the play-in, are they not? as many teams have collapsed that were ahead of them recently. Jazz ball. Kessler pull-up jumper, no good. Zach Collins with the rebound. Luka Samanic, I'm glad you remember that. KBD for 3, no good. For anybody that doesn't remember, Luka Samanic gave up on a play big time when I was live, and I said he would get cut because of that, and sure enough, he was gone the next day. 10-10, 8.5 to go. Jazz ball. Drive to the basket. Ooh, a lot of contact, no whistle as THT gets the bucket in the paint. Wanted a foul, didn't get it. Spurs ball back the other way, and that's immediately a turnover by Julian Champagny. Jazz going fast break, and a miss and a foul. Is Ochwa Agbaji? Ochwa Agbaji? Boy, I don't know. I'm sorry. There won't be any Jazz fans here tonight. Maybe one or two, maybe one or two. And if you're a fan of both these teams, this is a hard game to watch. It's going to be a hard game to watch. There's a lot of players missing from both teams. I had to put Juan Toscano Anderson's number. 95. All right. That's a unique number. Walker Kessler going to the bench. First free throw is good for the Jazz. They are up 13-10. Next coach after Pop, got no idea. Second free throw was good. Becky Hammonds is, she's not a G League coach. She is a WNBA coach, and she's under contract for 4 more years, I believe. So, no, she's not coaching the Spurs anytime soon. Speaking of Spurs, their ball, KBD into the paint. A little bit of Euro step, throws it up, no good. Go to the line for 2. Yep, WNBA, and they just won the title. I believe she is a coach for the Las Vegas Aces, and they just won the first championship. Well, first championship with Becky. I don't know if they had a championship prior to that. Yeah, I was looking at that too, man. I'm sick tonight, and I was like, man, I don't know. This is definitely, I mean, the Spurs streams have been tough. We've been pulling by far record low numbers with the channel, with the Spurs content the last few weeks. I mean, both teams are missing multiple starters. Yeah, I don't think they're coming in. Brandon drives to the paint, misses the shot. Ball's going to go out of bounds. It'll stay with the Spurs. Veronica is at the game. She went to this one. Mamu's checked in for the Spurs. I wondered with both these teams just how many guys are really injured. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Brandon jumper blocked. It'll be Jazz ball. 14-12, 7.5 minutes to go. An open 3. No good. THT. Blake Wesley is not in there yet. He barely played the last game he played in. Zach Collins gets in the paint, gets the Thunder Dunk of Justice. Wow, Lightning's really going. 14-0, 7 minutes to go. Long 3 is no good. THT taking a lot of shots. Jazz get the ball back, a fight for the board, and THT is going to get fouled by Zach Collins. Huge dunk by Zach. For the little bit of you that in here, if you could hit the thumbs up, we would appreciate you. Looks like that. Does anybody remember that? When Pop did a foul, like in the first, they did a hack-a-shack in the first 5 minutes of the game when he was with the Phoenix Suns. All right, we got a commercial break. Hopefully some people are still interested in our Spurs. Hopefully Spurs fans still are interested to hang out tonight. You know, just a little bit. Stop in, see who's playing well, see who's not playing well. It's a tied game right now, so it's anybody's game. Though, I got to hope the Spurs win with a viewer being at the game. Veronica, you don't want to see the team lose when you're live in person. Don't need a why. You like who you like. Tony Parker confirmed we're in a rebuild. we've definitely been a rebuild for some time. And the Spurs have been, I've mentioned this before, mentioned it just tonight. Look at all the players that we've, I don't want to say gotten rid of, but traded away the last few years. DeMar DeRozan, forgot to mention him. Derek White, DeJounte Murray, Jakob Poeltl, Josh Richardson. They're not trying to win a lot of games this year. Opening day for baseball, I just can't get too excited about baseball. I'm more of a September, October fan at this point. You know, Mir, he's going to be 75 this coming season. But I got to think if the Spurs do get the first overall pick and they draft Victor Wembanyama, then maybe that intrigues him and he sticks around for another year or two. And I think the reason, quite honestly, why he's still coaching is his wife passed away a few years ago. I don't think he has anything else to do. This is his life. I think he may coach until he's either physically unable or it just gets so bad it's he has to call it a day. What's up, Sal? Got a close game tonight between the G League Jazz and the G League Spurs. I think I'm about to show the dunk by Zach Collins. Mamu, I will say this about Mamu. He's showing us throughout the year. He's an intriguing prospect right now. Your thoughts about the Marines? And I'm surprised Lamar Jackson. I'm not surprised. Running quarterbacks don't win in the NFL. They win games, but when it comes to playoff games, they generally don't win. And has a run-first quarterback ever won a Super Bowl? I mean, run first, like that. Randall Cunningham, Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick, those type of guys that. They're more known for their running than any of their passing. By the way, that's 2 free throws for THT. The first one's good. Second free throw is also good. And I don't have any points going up for those free throws. There we go. 16-14. I'm ready for Wemby. I should do a Wemby song. My music channel. We'll find out traveling on the Spurs. I think we find out middle or late May. And I'll have to decide if I'm able to cover that night because I don't have cable as it stands. You think Manu would coach in the next year's Pete? I would be down for that. That's a big dunk by Udaka Azubuike. I don't know how to say his name. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I have no idea. Zach Collins going to take a three. It's off the front of the rim. No good. No, the Aaron Rodgers thing is not working at all. THT drives in the paint, gets the easy layup as he slices and dices our defense 3 different ways. It is Spurs ball. Brandon for 3. All right. Scoot Henderson I'd be fine with, but I think to get Scoot we're going to need a top 3 pick. That's a terrible shot. Whoever shot that for the Jazz. No good. That was THT again. Man, he's launching a lot of shots. Zach Collins open for 3. He's going to launch a 3. He's going to back iron the 3. And it is Jazz ball. Who's the other kid whose name I'm escaping? A top 3 prospect. It's Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, and one other dude that... Brandon Taylor? Couple misses by the Jazz. Spurs on the run. Malachi Brandon will bring it up the court. Just it off to Devontae Graham. Devontae thinks about the 3. Now he takes the 3, and he makes the 3. Tied game. Brandon Miller. What did I say? Brandon Taylor? Texas Liberty, good evening. There's a chance, Scoot could drop to the 3rd slot. But I don't think he's dropping any further than that. So the Spurs definitely need a top 3 pick, preferably number 1. THT drives into the paint with a tough layup in traffic. Man, THT has been very, very active in this game tonight. Spurs ball. 5 minutes. 5 minutes remaining. Devontae Graham crossover dribble, gets into the paint, throws it up, and no good. 2 shots as he gets fouled. Richardson is under contract, I think, for 2 or 3 more years, Jack Sporty. We do have some shooters, but the team has been decimated with injuries this year. Not to mention they're clearly in a rebuild, so when you add those two... Lucas Samanic! Wait, I said he was signed by the Knicks? He was signed by the Jazz? That's right. He originally was Spurs, Knicks, Celtics, whatever. Luka Samanic! Freddie? Basketball, not that I'm aware of. Oh, extra sandwich! Wow, I forgot he signed with the Jazz. And he's out there. Luka Samanic unleashed the sandwich, you turkey. Graham's second free throw. Luka freaking Samanic, pick number 19 in the 2019 draft. And all I can remember is when they drafted him, I was like, who? Much like Joshua Primo. Sorry, bad word. Three-point attempt is no good. Ball's going to go out of bounds. That was Oche Gajababi. Right, Jax? Surprised more people in the chat aren't saying Luka Samanic is out there. The sandwich. Guess I'm the only one excited about that. He sucked with us. Ball's going to go out. They keep showing the Sandwich Master. I don't know why. Brandon Miller, if not Wemby. But where do we play him at power forward? Does Kelvin stay up? I don't like Kelvin Johnson at power forward. It's too small. Pull-up three is no good by Johnny Juzang. And it is Spurs ball. 4 minutes to go. Move over to Devontae Graham. Graham back to Zach Collins. Collins going to launch another three. No good. Collins is launching the threes, but they ain't going in. And now we're going to have a foul. Somebody did get mad at me for calling him Luka Sandwich. You're right. You know what? He ended up being a sandwich, didn't he? Pete, I think next year is the make or break year for Keldon Johnson. Yes, I know he's been awful at times this season. We've also had a rotating starting lineup. He's had different starters with him when he's played. Almost Zach Collins for three again. Jeez. No good. That's like his fourth missed three. Beautiful alley-oop dunk to Udoka as he got that off just over the outstretched hands of Zach Collins. Graham gets it to Zach Collins, and we're going to have a foul on the sandwich. Luka Sandwich. Freddie would be a Raptors fan. Why do you say that? Freddie Krueger, a Raptors fan? Zach's feeling something. Building a house with all those bricks he's laying. For those who don't know, I did an Unleash the Sandwich song about Luka Samanic. Oh, okay. That's fair. Well, we got a close game. Inbound ball is immediately launched for three by Devontae Graham. No good. It is Jazz ball. Luka Samanic with the ball right now for the Jazz. And Chris Dunn's checked in for the Jazz. Jazz ball, pull-up jumper, good. Johnny Dwayne. Probably saying a lot of these names wrong. I don't know a lot of these guys in the Jazz at this point. Mama with the ball in three-point land. Whips around to, I think that's Romeo Langford, can't tell. Yeah, it's KBD. KBD drives. KBD loses the ball. He's going to get fouled. He's no Barkley. I love the pick at 29, but you're talking about Calvin? I don't think he's going to be a... well, we got a timeout. A bench player? Not what the extension just gave him. If you could have a player like Tim, Manu, or Tony, who would it be? I got to draft Tim Duncan, a Manu Ginobili, a Tony Parker, or Kawhi Leonard. I'm drafting Tim. I mean, no disrespect to any of the other guys there, but come on now. I'm a David Robinson fan. He's the greatest Spur of all time. He's helped the team get 5 rings. I mean, how am I not taking Tim? A good dude. Never any trouble or, nonsense around him. It's Tim Duncan. I wish the other Luka too. Yeah. He's talking about Luka Doncic. Yeah, we got the wrong Luka on the Spurs. There's definitely been some questionable draft. Let's pull up the Spurs draft. We're in a commercial break. Zion Williamson calls out his teammates after losing to the Lakers. Maybe you should lay off the sandwiches, buddy. And the donuts. Dude's always got injuries. Spurs draft history. I did a video on that a while back on the hits and misses. San Antonio Spurs draft picks. Alrighty. We took 4 players this year. Jeremy Sohan, Malachi Brandon, Blake Wesley, and I already forgot about Kennedy Chandler in the second round. He's with Memphis. Didn't even remember Kennedy Chandler was a draft pick. 2021, we took Joshua Primo and Joe Wieskamp, which turned out to be probably one of the biggest bust drafts we've ever had. When you consider Josh Primo was a lottery pick. Of course, the Spurs couldn't have predicted what happened with him, but to have both players off the roster so quickly, Bucks to Rooney. 2020 was pretty good. Devin Vassell, Trey Jones, both players on the team. Both players were starting when healthy. We were talking about the Sandwich Master, Lucas Samanic, 2019, Keldon Johnson, and Quindare Weatherspoon. Q, garbage time Q. I forgot he was drafted in 19. He ended up winning a championship with the Golden State Warriors. Prior to that, we had Lonnie Walker and Chimeze Nitu. Neither player really panned out the way we wanted them to. And, you know, a lot of the current Spurs guys, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, are they starting to remind you a lot of Lonnie Walker? A little bit of inconsistencies, shows brilliant flashes, makes us think they're the guy, and then the next night they put out a dud. I think that's the problem we've had with a lot of our young guys is they're inconsistent, and they give us those glimpses here and there that make us think these are the guys, and then they a stinker the next night. 2017, Derek White and Jaron Blossom game? I don't know who the hell that is. DeJounte Murray, 2016. Gosh, going back 2015, Nikola Moltinov and Katie Lillane. We're going to stop there. I don't remember who some of these guys are at this point. All right, looking back at the game, first free throw was good for KBD. Second free throw, also good. Spurs only down by 2. Let's go Rangers. Let's go Yankees. I don't even know when the Yankees are playing tomorrow. Jazz ball, 26-24. Lucas Samanic drives, gets into the paint, turnaround jump hook is good, and Lucas Samanic has scored against his old team, the San Antonio Spurs. Lost him whatever, his right feet. Spurs ball, Romeo Langford drives baseline. Looked like he stepped out of bounds. He didn't, and gets the reverse layup. Nice job by Romeo Langford, who has looked really good at times. Problem with Romeo Langford, the thorn in his side is always the injuries. Can't stay healthy. Samanic with the ball again, drives to the paint, spins around, throws it up off the glass, no good, gets a foul. Lucas Samanic looking okay versus his old team. Got something to prove. He got a new tattoo. I don't remember him having a tattoo right here when he played with us. I know he had the sleeve on his arm. Seems like he's got a sleeve on his other arm too. I don't think he had that when he played with us. Sleeve on his right arm? I don't think he was that. I think he's getting more and more tattoos. First free throw was good. Good evening, Sebastian. Former 19th overall pick for the Spurs hits the second free throw, and Samanic, I think, has 4 points against his old team. Of course he does. Spurs ball. Blake Wesley's checking in for the Spurs, has the ball right now. Blake out to Romeo Langford. Romeo for 3. That is no good. Samanic with the rebound. Samanic, man on a mission against his old Spurs team. Pull-up jumper is no good by Johnny Zhang. Is it Zhang? I might be saying it all sorts wrong. Spurs ball. Blake Wesley fakes the 3, gets it over to Devontae Graham. Oh, sorry. Reverse that. They'll get it out to Romeo for 3. 30-29. Spurs hanging around. Minute to go. Driving to the paint and a miss. Chris Dunn drives in the paint. Had a nice shot. Couldn't convert it. Devontae Graham with the ball for the Spurs. Gets a pick and roll. Back over to KBD. KBD thinks about the 3. Pulls it down. Drives to the paint. And gets rejected by Lucas Samanic. No, says Luka. Get that sandwich out of here. Now an easy dunk for Walker Kessler after the dish from Sandwich. Lucas Sandwich is looking good tonight. I'm going to have to call him Lucas Samanic. Put some respect on his name. He's looking pretty good out there. Granted, he's playing our team. Not a lot of defense on the Spurs. That's a miss. Kessler with the rebound. Spurs down 32-29. And they get the ball into Damian Jones. Gets the bucket in the paint. Spurs down by 5. Well, I think we'll be better next year. Wow, pounding that pink. What's going on? As Mamu gets in the paint, throws it up, and then Spurs down by 3. I mean, if we get Wemby, I think we're immediately a playing team. Just like that. Scoot, that's a maybe. Anything after that, I don't know. Lakers are beating up the Bulls right now. It's 29-17 in the first quarter. It's a drive and a layup by Chris Dunn. He's been getting into the paint at will against the Spurs. Ooh, clock hasn't started. We'll start the clock now. Devontae Graham in the paint. He's going to get fouled. Man, I hope they do better, Sebastian. They've only lost since I started this channel. I've been doing the Spurs on this channel for 4 years. I started after the last playoff series versus the Denver Nuggets, and it's been tough. 4 years of my friend of misery. 4 years of losing. 2 shots for Blake Wesley. Fouled by Sandwich. 36-32. Veal is great. Okay. Or Vale. Vale or Veal? Blake Wesley's second free throw is good. And the Jazz aren't going to get a shot off. Spurs down by 3. And what's actually turned out to be a fairly high-scoring first quarter. It is fan appreciation night, by the way. This is the Lucas Sandwich revenge game. I'm kind of shocked that Hellway's playing. Not what I expected at all. No, I got to change the Q to 2. Q2? All right. Okie dokie. Second quarter. Former Spur, 19th overall pick, Lucas Samanic. Looking good versus the old team. Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston are doing another movie together. Jennifer Aniston finally starting to show her age. Murder Mystery 2. I didn't know there was a Murder Mystery 1. Wiseman, is he ever going to turn into anything, though? He had a lot of injuries? Let me look up James Wiseman. Go to a little basketball reference. Look up the Wiseman. The Wise Man. Wise man, take a look at my life. I'm alive. James Wiseman. Let me go to Detroit. With Detroit, he's actually played much better than any time he did in Golden State. With Detroit, he's played 17 games, started 15, getting about 26 minutes a game, shooting 54% from the field, 20% from beyond the arc, only shooting about 1 a game, 68% from the line, 8.5 rebounds, not much of anything else, less than a block a game, 13.4 points. So you know what? He's actually playing okay. He's still relatively young, or actually still very young. He's 21. He missed all of 2021-22 with that knee injury. He was 20 years old. James Wiseman, obviously still a work in progress, but progressing. And how does Detroit suck so bad every year? You guys talk about this occasionally in the comments on the videos, but how do we have these teams suck every freaking year? The Houston Rockets, Detroit Pistons, etc. constantly get a top 5 pick. At some point, something's got to give. I'd be intrigued if he was on point forward. That would give us a huge lineup. If the Spurs drafted Wemby, and it was Zach Collins from 5-1, Wemby, Zach Collins, Keldon Johnson, Don Vassell, and Jeremy Sohan, that would be our biggest lineup in years. Maybe our biggest lineup since the Twin Towers. Maybe, unless I'm missing something. We'd have a 6'10", 6'11" center, a 7'5" power forward, a 6'9" point guard, point forward if you will, plus Johnson and Devassell are both around 6'6". That would be a big team. There's my man David Robinson on the court. If we don't get the number 1 pick, maybe hopefully only 2. Is Victor Wembanyama injury prone? A little bit. A lot of concerns there. He's 7'5". He weighs like 220 pounds. And historically speaking, guys with that kind of build don't last very, very long. Your Ralph Sampsons, your Yao Mings. Heck, even Chet Holmgren was injured already. He's a real beanpole. I have a drive to the paint. Foul, and Blake Wesley's going to line to two. Two shots. Two shots. You know, I haven't done this in a while. Let's do a little of this. I think Chet was close to 7 feet tall and, gosh, 175 pounds for his free throw good. Manute Bol or Bol or both? Good evening, Joshua. You know, Joel Embiid, though, was injured his first 2 years and eventually beat the injury bug. Now, he's not the size of a Victor Wembanyama. George Mirasan was a big dude and did not last long. Roy, good evening. Boo Boo's the cat says, go Spurs. Boo Boo's the cat says, can't wait for one day soon where I get out there and have another one of those delicious milkshakes. That's a 3. Who shot that? Damian Jones for 3. Baytown Breakdown! TSR Radio throws on the $2 super chat. Good evening, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well. Man, Bobby, the struggle is real. When you take time off from YouTube, man, they bury you in the algorithm. It doesn't help my team is ridiculously bad this year. So praying to the NBA gods, we get Victor Wembanyama, so my channel gets a big fire lit under it. But I hope you're doing well. Still going to meet up with you at some point this year. Spurs ball. Blake Wesley. Out to Romeo Langford, former Boston Celtic, part of the Derek White trade. Over to KBD. KBD, dang, dang, dang. We'll kick it out to Wesley for 3. Nope. Jazz ball. Appreciate that, Roy. I'll be out there again at some point. I don't know if it'll be this year. I've been traveling so much thanks to you guys inviting me out to Texas, or pushing me to come out to Texas. Between Texas in December, went to Vegas, it was this month. We're going on a short vacation next month to New Hampshire. Or, no, not New Hampshire. Yeah, New Hampshire. Then I'm going to New Jersey for UFC 288 in May. So, it's all thanks to you guys, man. KBD for 3. Hey! KBDDD. It is tough, man. I'm contemplating covering the playoffs. Yeah, I want to grow the channel, and just covering the Spurs right now ain't going to cut it. And I don't want to have no live streams from, gosh, early April to, October. So I've thought about getting cable. Oh, Jazz got a bucket and one. I just don't know which team I would cover. For sleeping purposes and job purposes, I would probably cover an Eastern Conference team. I was actually going to poll you guys, and would you want me to follow the Hawks and DeJounte Murray's travel to an exit in the first round? Maybe Milwaukee Bucks? I don't know. It's been tough, though, Bobby. I took some time. I took 2 months off. I know you've taken time off, too. And when you come back, jeez, you get just penalized so hard by YouTube. That's what it is. We'll get it back. You're going to get 10,000 this year. And I'm going to get wherever I go. Dominic Barlow's checking for the Spurs. Woohoo. Julian Champagny for 3. That's an air ball. Air ball. Artist Gilmore is hanging out with Sean Elliott and company at the announcer's booth. Spurs ball, down by Quattro. KBD pull-up jumper is no good. Put back by Don Barlow is good. 41-39. I thought about calling the Celtics and Derek White, Bobby, but if you're covering the Celtics, I would feel bad about streaming at the same time you would, since that's your team. However, if you're not covering the Celtics, then maybe I would jump on board because Derek White is a former Spur. We got a scramble for the ball. Spurs will come away with it. And now Brandon misses the layup. We're going to have a foul. He will go to the line for 2. And the Celtics, I got to think, are going to be a top team in the Eastern Conference again. And certainly contend for an NBA final spot. I'm not from Texas. I'm from Massachusetts. I'm from Western Mass, and I live in the east side of Connecticut. So I can actually do this and mean it. Ricardo, great name, by the way. It's all going to depend, first free throw's good, when they draft. If they draft first overall, I got to think they're drafting Victor Wembanyama. Anything later than number 1, forget it. Play-by-play, Trash Murray. We'll see. I'll probably put up the Atlanta Hawks, Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics. I guess that's probably it. 8:40 to go. 41-40. It is Jazz ball. Chris Dunn, pull-up jumper off the front rim. No good. Dominic Barlow with the rebound. 76ers. Could be a fun team to follow. My uncle's a 76ers fan, so I could follow his team. Joel Embiid, James Harden. And Julian Champagnie misses an easy backdoor layup. He had one job to do, and he blew it! Good evening, Juan. That's a deep three, and that's an air ball. That was Oche Agbaji with the brick. A lot of air balls in this game tonight. DeJounte's doing well. Finding that, I don't know what to do with that, but okay. All good. Let me grab my dog. Here's my dog. Spurs ball. KBD. Guarded by former Spur Luka Samanic. Gets it out to Malachi Branham. Branham back to KBD. Takes the three. And hits the front of the rim. Samanic with the rebound. Jazz ball. 41-40. Under 8 minutes to go. Luka Samanic in the paint. Turnaround jumper is no good, but he got fouled before the jumper. Latino Lantern! I thought I read Pop sending Wemby to G League. What? Red Pop sending Wesley to G League. Thank you for the super chat. Throws down to $2. Really? At this point in the season, with a handful of games left and multiple injuries, what would be the point in sending him there? Huge alley-oop dunk for the Jazz again. Nice pass by Simone Fontecchio. I believe that was Udoka Azubike with the dunk. And we're going to have a foul down the end of the court, and that's an offensive foul on the Spurs. Biscuits. Do I think Zach Collins will play again? I think he'll play again today. Cover the Celtics, bro. Not going to bomb even follow your boy. I'm glad he's doing well, because he was such a Beantown breakdown. You like covering the NHL too, don't you? Plus the Red Sox are starting. I mean, I don't know what your pecking order is for Red Sox, Bruins, Patriots, and Celtics. I got to think the Patriots and Red Sox are above the other two, but I don't know. I really have no idea. Another bucket for the Jazz. Didn't even see who shot that. My apologies. I was over here rambling. 7 minutes to go. Champagnie for three. In and out. Burger! Spurs better not go down by double digits going into the half. Juan Toscano Anderson dishes it out. And we got a jumper and a timeout. Didn't see who shot that. Pop with the timeout. Spurs down. Biggest lead of the game for the Utah Jazz. Rockets and Pistons. Are the Rockets and Pistons playing tonight? Yeah, exactly. Pounding that. Why send him to the G League? The season's almost over. Just get him in there. Well, I'm sure pre-2000 the Patriots are probably pretty buried on that list for a lot of New Englanders. The Patriots were not very good for most of that decade. They had a few good years. I believe they went to one Super Bowl in the 90s with Drew Bledsoe. I think they lost to the Packers. Was it the Packers and Brett Favre that beat the Patriots? Shoot. Honestly, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure Drew Bledsoe and the Pats. Bill Parcells coached New England Patriots, made a Super Bowl in the mid-ish 90s, in 96 or 97. Dang, I don't remember who they lost to. After the Sox, they are going to suck this year. Bruins and Celtics taking priority. Well, I know the Patriots lost to the 85 Bears. I do know that for sure. That was the Flutie Flakes year. But I just couldn't remember who the Pats lost to in the 90s, but I feel like it was Green Bay. It was the Packers. All right, thanks, Bobby. Not trolling at all. I'm just trying to remember. Did Green Bay go to back-to-back Super Bowls, beat the Patriots, and then lost to John Elway's Broncos? And then the Broncos repeated against the Falcons? I think that's how that went down. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that might be right. Good evening, Steven. Steven, yeah, I'll give you a little go, Spurs go. If you ain't down with that, Chuck Norris! to a shooter window that night. Jeremy Sohan's an intriguing prospect. I don't know what his ceiling is, but just what we've seen from day one to recently, he has developed much quicker than I anticipated. And that's one thing that's been very positive for the San Antonio Spurs this year is our rookies, specifically Jeremy Sohan and Malachi Branham, have definitely showed a lot of growth this year. Unfortunately, Blake Wesling hasn't shown that same growth. He was looking good pre his knee injury, which was in late October, and since then he hasn't been able to get back in a groove. Shoot through a window, though, that's pretty cool. I'm trying to think if I've ever been that mad for a Giants loss. I mean, we lost the Super Bowl to the Ravens, but we got blown out. Like, that wasn't even a game. So, I mean, when your team's getting blown out, at that point you just become kind of, Ray Allen's 3 versus the Spurs when Tim Duncan was pulled out of the game, and then he got that offensive rebound and kicked it out to Ray Allen for 3. I was livid during that. I will say that, yes, I do remember getting extremely angry. We have a foul on the Jazz. And probably my angriest, actually, as a Giants fan, is when we drafted Daniel Jones. Yeah, technical on the Jazz. Maybe a 3-second violation, illegal defense, whatever it may be. Trey Jones is going to shoot the free throw and miss it. Asuka, the Spurs are bad. It's nothing I can do. It's disappointing. As normally with most Spurs games when they're playing good, we'd have at least 100. And by the end of the game, we'd have 200 to 300. But the Spurs team has gotten bad each year. They don't have any stars. It is what it is. I'm still watching my team, and I appreciate those of you that are here. It is what it is. Malachi Branham for 3, no good. I knew tonight's stream would be rough with everybody sinning, and that's all right. We're going to have a foul down the other end. I don't know who that's on yet. Nintendo, good evening. Joshua, his 3 has gotten better. I wouldn't say it's reliable yet. Sure did, Joshua. Dude, I was freaking livid when I don't have that video on the channel anymore. There's way too much cursing. The only time I could see myself really cussing up a storm is that the Spurs do draft first overall in the June draft. And they draft first and draft some dude that's supposed to go like 10th. I will freaking lose my brain. The free throws did kill us too. Spurs should have 6 rings. And they blew it. Absolutely blew it. Very disappointing. Second free throw is good. Jazz up 48-40. And it is Spurs ball down by 8, which is the biggest lead of the game for the Utah Jazz. Mamu thinks about a 3, pulls it down. Drops it off to Julian Champagnie. Champagnie into the paint. Another whistle. Offensive foul. Dilly. I think, is the college basketball on tonight too? That could be hurting. Whatever. Who cares? It is Jazz ball. Pull-up jumper is no good for THT. Trey Jones will bring it up for San Antonio. With 16 on the shot clock. Drives in the paint. Pull-up jumper. Good. Spurs just hanging around. Of course, if you've been watching the Spurs this year, they tend to hang around the first half, and then the wheels just fall off hard in the second half. That's a long 3, and it's no good. Who shot that? Is that Toscano Anderson? Yeah, Juan Toscano Anderson for 3, no good. Jones with the runner, no good. Spurs get the ball back on Malachi Brandon Steele. Brandon with the pull-up jumper, good. Spurs down by 4. I would, dude, to blow a first overall pick. Wow. It would be really hard to speak positive of the Spurs if we blew it that hard. But I got to think if they get the number 1 overall pick, it's Victor Wembanyama, and that's it. Corner 3 is good for THT. Lead back up to 7. Did he, Joshua? Can't miss free throws like that in crunch time. You just can't. Mamu for three. No good. He has been launching the three this year, but I don't believe his three-point shooting percentage is very good. Chris Dunn drives in the paint, throws it up, and traffic gets it in. Back to a 9-point lead for the Jazz. You met Kawhi? Oh, he's very shy. Zach Collins in the post, backs his man up, turnaround jumper is no good. Mamu with a follow-up dunk, that's no good. Mamu gets the ball back again, throws it up, and in. Nice effort by Mamu. Demisel, I think the knee injury he had early this year has been lingering, and he just can't seem to shake it. Or the Spurs are load managing their players, and the tank is in. Could be both. Never call the win until the game is over. Never, ever, ever say the game's over until there's zeros on the clock. Remember Reggie Miller went off for 8 points in like 9 seconds versus the Knicks? Yeah, remember that? The old choke symbol by Reggie Miller to the Knicks? Yeah. You just don't know what's going to happen. The biggest NFL comeback I've ever seen. It's not the Patriots and the Falcons, but the Houston Oilers and Buffalo Bills. Buffalo's starting quarterback, Jim Kelly, was knocked out of the game. I believe the backup that came in was Frank Reich. They were down 35-3 and won in overtime, 41-38. I was about to shut the game off. I'm like, why am I still watching this? And then the comeback just came. Jones for three, good. Mr. Jones and me. I didn't forget T-Mac. I just didn't want to bring it up. And Toscano Anderson with a nice drive, bit of Euro step in the paint, throws it high off the glass, good, 55-49. I can't drive 55. Nope. Clock stopped, so I guess I'll stop my clock. Wet spot on the floor. Wet spot on the floor. Can we get up to 50 thumbs up? Well, with this crowd, it's not going to happen. So hopefully with the Spurs actually being competitive tonight, some folks start stepping in the second half. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Have to get some peeps in here and see how people are doing. See how the peeps are doing, you know what I'm saying? Mamu in the paint throws it up off the glass. Good, and one. 55-51. Sports streamer, it's going well. Thank you. How are you doing? A Rockets win would be great. Joshua, I'm not going to lie. That would be nice. They're playing Detroit, correct? Actually, let me pull up the score in that game. We'll find out right now. Oh, the algorithm's been giving me the finger for all my Spurs content, dude. I mean, the team's got 19 wins. I was looking up... well, Houston's not playing. Houston's playing Brooklyn. Brooklyn's up by 2. Let's go Rockets. Beat the Nets. It is Jazz ball. They're only up by 3. Wow, THT with a beautiful drive into the paint. Gets the layup in traffic. Nice job by THT. Travel on Trey Jones. Detroit does play the Rockets at some point very soon, though. THT's having a heck of a game. Exactly, Joshua. Beat the Nets, beat the Pistons, and finish ahead of us. I guess, you and I want that now. THT drives in the paint, gets the layup in traffic. THT's been very aggressive tonight, playing very well. Spurs ball. Trey Jones out, 3-point land, 16 on the shot clock. THT has 24 points already? I think my camera's a little high. There we go. Zach Collins with a bucket in the paint. I was like, I feel like part of my head's cut off. Or just like a floating head. That's better. Spurs get the ball back on the turnover by the Jazz. Looks like that was a possible block shot. Now we're going to have a huge collision in the paint, and that's going to be an offensive foul. Mama Kalavesh. Mama. Serge, go Spurs, go to you, my friend. I'll put that up here. Where is it? There it is. Oh, that Derek, wow. That Derek Fisher shot. When he was with the Lakers, was it a three-pointer? 0.7 seconds left back in the day? So many shoulda, woulda, coulda moments. Was it .4 on the clock? Whatever it wasn't much time, and it was a dagger. Well, it obviously won the game. There was no time left, but that one hurt. As good as the Spurs were in the Tim Duncan run, there's some moments when you look back and you're like, man, we could have had maybe 6, maybe 7 championships. Right, Joshua? It is what it is. It's all good. We're lucky we got 5. And as a Spurs fan, since 1990, things were looking bleak in 96, 97 when Mr. Robinson and Sean Elliott went down. But then the lottery gods smiled upon us, and Tim Duncan was drafted number 1. I know we got to meet up, Bobby. Meet up in the middle, whatever it is. Yeah, we definitely we need to plan something. We do. We're 90 minutes away. We meet up in the middle. It's only a 45-minute drive for both of us. That is not unreasonable at all. I just don't know where or what. But I've met, as far as people that I've worked with the most, it's probably you and OGR. I've met OGR Sports because he lives in Connecticut, but we've just been talking about it for years now. And life happens, though. Life gets busy. You've got things you're dealing with. I had a medical issue last year. I don't know if I told you. I took a drug called ciprofloxacin. And one of the issues that you can have with Cipro is it can cause your tendons to get weaker. Well, after 2 pills, I couldn't walk the next day. I was literally rolling myself around on my work chair as my body could not support its weight. And I couldn't run or jump for at least 3 months. And it really, really wrecked me. Any athleticism I had when I was 44, since that, I have not gotten back on track. I'm not overweight or anything, but as far as being the athletic guy I was prior to that, I still haven't gotten bounced back yet. The struggle's real. Okay, Hakeem was a great player. Tim greater than Hakeem. Different types of players. Good evening, Butterfly. Go Spurs, go to you. Hopefully you're doing well tonight. Spurs are fighting tonight, which... Welcome to what's left of the San Antonio Spurs, to what's left of the Utah Jazz. Yeah, pretty much, Joshua. I wish I didn't take it. And, of course, the prescription they gave me in place of it had no side effects. I'm like, why couldn't you start there? Pull-up jumper by THT is no good. He has a chance of 50 points tonight, which I gotta think would be a career high. I don't know. Monte Graham for 3. Spurs are down by 2. Come on, under 234.5. Well, they're 116 right now, so they're on pace just to fall under that number, Duncan. But a couple more buckets, he might be in trouble. THT for 3. In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger. Yes, you are, Bobby. Yes, you are. Struggle's real, man. How much more do you have of that? Because that's been going on for... Has that been over a year now? Definitely over a year, right? Devontae Graham for 3. Spurs got the lead. Oh. Yeah. Spurs actually winning. Jazz ball. Wide open 3 for THT. Yeah. Well, and the lead's gone like that. I know some fans might not want the Spurs to win. A longtime viewer is at the game tonight, so I got to root for him for her. I think Torrent Hucker has 27 points tonight. He has a legit shot for 50. 2 years. Dang, man. Hopefully over soon for you, bro. Trey Jones drives in the paint, fouled, going on line for 2. Who do you think will win the NBA championship this season? Tough to say. Could be Denver. Phoenix if Kevin Durant gets healthy and they're at 100%. Celtics, the Bucks. The Sixers. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that make me go, if you're on a roll, could be your time. And one thing about any type of playoff situation is if you can get hot going into the playoffs, seen it twice with my New York Giants, who are not the best team in the NFL in their last 2 Super Bowl victories, but just got hot at the right time, anything's possible. That's a missed 3 by Oche Abji. It is Spurs ball, down by 2. With 25 seconds to go. Graham way out in three-point land, 12 on the shot clock. Looks like he's going to run the clock a bit. Pick and roll with Zach Collins. Devontae drives in the paint, loses the ball. We're going to reach and foul. Bobby, man, prayers out. Brother, I hope you're done with this, man. I can't imagine 2 years of that. That's... wow. That was a long fight, man. But you know what? They said, you're going 15 rounds to win this. You know, you got to go. You're like Rocky. You got to go 15 rounds. And he said, I'm going 15 rounds. By the way, Graham at the line for 2. Joshua, right? If Eli always played that well, I mean, he was really good in 2011. That's a very underrated season by a lot of NFL fans. He had terrible offense around him. The prior team, he just had an extraordinary defense. He had good defense, too, when they won in 2011. Don't get me wrong. Really good defense. Jazz ball. 5. Oh, my clock's on mine. Chris Dunn's going to drive in the paint. Stops, pops. And the Jazz are probably going to take the lead into the half. Yes, they are. All right. Well, we got a good game. I can't complain about 64-62. For folks looking for that over-under, you might be in a little bit of trouble. Because right now they're on pace for the over. 29 points for THT. Shut the front door. 10,000 milligrams a week. Wow, 10,000. Eli was phenomenal in those 2 playoff runs. And that's going to get him in the Hall of Fame. And his lifetime numbers, I think he's in top 10 for touchdowns and yards, but in the end, he's going to be a Hall of Famer because 2 Super Bowl MVPs against one of the greatest dynasties of all time in the NFL, the New England Patriots. Well, let's pull up the scoreboard. Scoreboard here. All right, for the Utah Jazz, Fontecchio with 4, Toscano Anderson with 2, Kessler with 2, THT 10 of 17 from the field, 4 of 7 from beyond the arc. He's got 27. You guys said 29 in the chat? ESPN saying he has 27. Obagi with 2 for the bench. Lucas Samanic, former San Antonio Spurs, 9 minutes, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block. He does have 3 personal fouls, but otherwise, looking pretty good. Jones with 5. Azubuike with 8. Dunn with 8. And Zhu Zhang with 2. And my apologies once again if I'm saying anybody's name wrong out of these players. I don't watch the Utah Jazz, and I sure as heck, when I have watched them, they didn't go this deep into the roster. For San Antonio Spurs, Zach Collins with only 4, launching the 3 tonight, 0 for 4. Champagne with 0. He's 0 for everything. He's got a triple single. KBDDDDD with 9, only 2 of 7 from the field. Jeez, bench must be really helping us out. Trey Jones with 11 and Malachi Branham with 8. Off the bench, Mamu with 7, 5, and 3. Dominic Barlow with 2. Devontae Graham leading all Spurs scorers right now at 13, 3 of 5 from the field, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc, 4 of 4 from the line. Romeo Langford with 5 and Blake Wesley with 3. Spurs so far tonight, 13 assists, 8 turnovers, which is, believe me, better for them. Usually they're a turnover machine. Spurs got outscored by the Jazz 36-33 in the first quarter, and the Spurs outscored the Jazz 29-28. But the pivotal third quarter is coming up because we've seen the wheels fall off of Spurs games left and right in the second half. So hopefully they can hold it together and keep it competitive. Come on, Spurs is right, Butterfly. Oops. Eli's Super Bowl performance against the greatest teams ever are why he's getting... Exactly. I mean, you can't be a 2-time Super Bowl MVP against the juggernaut that was the New England Patriots, including an 18-0 year. I refuse to believe that you're not getting in the Super Bowl. Plus, having that name on the back of his jersey, Manning, probably not going to hurt either. Y'all think Collins can go off? It's you selling, Seth. Veronica! At the game, hopefully you're enjoying it. It's a close game. Much like myself, unfortunately, when you went to the game, a lot of the players aren't playing tonight. However, You did get to see Pop, who didn't show up for my 2 games, and David Robinson didn't show up either, and you got to see David Robinson. So that's a little jealous of you. I didn't get to see Tim Duncan 3 feet away from me, though, which was really cool. And man, I wish I had my camera phone out. It would have been a picture of Tim grabbing a piece of cake, but who cares? It's Tim Duncan grabbing a piece of cake 3 feet away from me. What's Bleacher Report line about? Oh, 29? I don't know. ESPN said 27. I mean, 27, 29. Either way, it's a lot of points in the first half. So props to THT. You know what? I'm all for seeing him go off for 50. I'm going to go look up his career high. I think I heard 40-ish on the broadcast. Bulls news. LeBron James savagely roasted by Chicago. Whatever. Who cares? THT, what's your career high? Well, he hasn't played a ton of years in the NBA. I did not realize this is only his 4th season. I forgot he's only 22. All right, Taylor Horton Tucker. Game highs. His career high is 40 last year with the Lakers. His season high this year is 37, obviously with the Utah Jazz. And has a really good shot of making a career high and could get to 50. I hope he does it. Why not? You know? I like to see players go off. Granted, I'd rather be one of our players, a San Antonio Spur going off, but if the opposing team's going to drop 50, fine, whatever. Good evening, Araf. Thank you for stopping in. Lose, damn it. Hey, you know what? If the Spurs lose, this is the type of loss that I like to see. They're fighting. It's a close game. I don't like games like the one in Sunday against the Celtics when they lost by 44 points. Come on. I mean, just don't get embarrassed, you know? No thanks. I gotta say, this is probably one of my least favorite times in the NBA is halftime. Because they just have 15 minutes and you're like, what do you talk about? Pull up the box score? Talk about life? I guess I could put Grogu on the screen. I just, you know, he's cute. Much better than looking at me. There you go. All right. Which NBA player do I like, but I won't say in public? I did like Ray Allen. I hated the shot he made against us, but I did like Ray Allen. Oh, Saul 77. Grover the Sesame Street guy? Yeah, I remember that, Ricardo. OKC losing by 61. I can't even comprehend watching it. I mean, I would stop watching at halftime. That game, I'm sure, was over by then. But, man, what a bunch of doo-doo. Nobody wants to see that. As somehow you've been sleeping under a rock, the Spurs were established in 1973. This is the 50-year anniversary for San Antonio. Roll 5-0. Right there. What haven't we put up tonight? Anything we haven't put up? Yeah, we'll do this again. If you ain't down with the San Antonio Spurs, we got 2 words for you. Sucker! Well, Divin, the third quarter is the make or break because we've seen the Spurs a lot this year be competitive in the first half, and the wheels absolutely fell off in the second half. So we'll see what happens this half. I'm not wishing anything bad on the team. San Antonio Spurs, $25 donation for every Spurs three-pointer made. They've donated $3,600 so far this year. That's cool. Not bad. Not too shabby. The one thing about live streaming is you can't really move around much. Like, I'm kind of tied to my couch for 2.5 hours. So I'll, like, take my shoes off. I'll put them on. I'll take them off. I'll put them on because it's the winter here in Connecticut. And sometimes I'm warm, sometimes I'm cold, sometimes I'm warm, sometimes I'm cold, and it's very annoying. If you always see me constantly moving around and fidgeting, it's one, I'm trying to stay comfortable because my back gets tightened up sitting here for so long, but also, yeah, there's the temperature as well. Ben Simmons sucks. You guys looked at Ben Simmons' stats this year, and let me pull these up. Holy moly, he is a freaking train wreck. Just an absolute disaster. I looked him up earlier this week. I think it was last night. And I didn't realize just how bad he was this year. He played in 42 games, starting 35, playing 26 minutes a game. Shot
Like buy one,
56%
get one
from the
half
field,
off
which
Wing
is
Tuesdays.
really good. 0 from beyond the arc, so he didn't make a 3. Probably didn't take many either. 44% from the free throw line. 6.3 rebounds a game. 6.1 assists. 1.3 steals. These are all below his career average. 0.6 blocks. 6.9 points per game. He was only taking 5.6 shots a game. He averaged 7 points a game. And this is a former 3-time All-Star. I think he's done. I'm not going to root against him. I'm not the type of person that has any animosity towards any other NBA player. But sitting out last year, this really was a bad look. And then this disastrous year this year. I don't know, man. That's bad. 7 points a game, 44% from the line. Good luck to him, but he's only 26. I don't know. He might be close to being done. He's got a Kardashian. Is that what happened? I have no idea who Ben Simmons is dating. My neck is still popping. My friends, I didn't know I was going to call tonight's game. Last night, around 7:30, all of a sudden, I just got this crazy headache, and then my body temperature went sky high. Like, I instantly, had a fever. I don't know what happened. I just felt like I got hit by a truck. The struggle was real at work today. My throat's a little sore. I was like, you know what? I already prepped for the stream. I know a lot of guys will be out. Unfortunately, they are, but I want to hang out and try to call as many games that are left of the season, because when it's all said and done, I was looking at my playlist. I only streamed about 30 Spurs games. I know I took a long break. I just had a lot going on in life, and sometimes life happens, and I was trying other things, admittedly, with trying to do a YouTube game channel for a little while, a YouTube Hulk channel, and I just don't have the time or energy to start a channel from scratch. It's so much effort. You have to put out a video every single day. And yes, I'm doing videos daily on here again, but this is an established channel. If I miss a day or two, it's not going to be the end of the world. Granted, my algorithm is not as friendly as it was at the start of the year, but we'll get it back. But man, I just drain the heck out of me trying new channels. He's made the money. Yeah, you could be right. Made his money, got paid, and now Ben's like, yeah, I'm done. Kendall fan, but keep her away from my team. Kendall Jenner? Is that who Ben Simmons is with? All right, so third quarter should be starting any minute now, I'm assuming. So I'm going to put Q3 up. I'm going to try to find the Q3. There it is. TSR is a little rusty. I am proud of the fact this channel, I think I was the first person to start doing a live scoreboard. Like, people were using the live scoreboard before, like copying and pasting ESPNs, but I mean, to actually do a live game clock, I think I was one of the first ones to do that. I know Sports Fury had a live scoreboard, but I mean, game clock too, I think I kind of started a trend. Won't matter in the long run that I started that, but I'd like to think there was a little innovation on my channel, here and there. Pretty creative guy. Fan Appreciation Night. Veronica, where are you? Wave to the camera. Let me know you're out there. YouTube subscribers out there in the game. Oh, I have no idea, pounding. That is a loud commercial. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Come on, let's get going with the second half. Come on. I'm ready for it. Your league, your benefits, your NBA ID. What is this? NBA ID? I don't even know what this is. Is this a new thing that NBA is peddling? By the way, if you're hanging out tonight, would appreciate any thumbs up that you could drop on the stream. It does help the channel. It's fast, free, fun, nutritious, and delicious. And the only thing I'll ever ask from you guys, you'll never see a sponsor on here. I'll never ask for a handout with Patreon or any of that stuff. All I ask for is a thumbs out, because, I don't know, that's how I roll. Not that there's anything wrong with the other stuff. I'm just saying, I don't... you guys know. When I watch a YouTube video, as soon as that sponsorship stuff starts, I'm just like, skip ahead 2 or 3 minutes. It drives me crazy. Especially, what if you're sponsoring something that ends up being sketchy, like that, what was it, land title thing? There was a land title thing last year that I saw some channels back, and then ended up being, I believe it ended up being a scam, so it's not worth it. What are the Spurs? Now, Joshua, that's the one thing I said I would accept a sponsorship with. One, because it's a trusted organization, the San Antonio Spurs, but two, that's my team. So that would make sense. But getting a sponsorship by a toothpaste, or I have gotten a lot of emails over the past 6 months about random sponsorships, and I'm looking at the product and I'm like, I don't want this. Now I did a Suitor sponsorship, but it wasn't a sponsorship. Foco, F-O-C-O, reached out to me and said, hey, can you just mention that the Spurs have bobbleheads coming out on one of your streams? And I said, okay. I'm a Spurs fan. I'll just say they're coming out. They did send me one, which they didn't have to. They actually sent me a jersey, too, a Giants polo jersey. But that was just a hanging out live stream, letting you guys know. I guess I'm sounding like a little bit of a hypocrite. But I wasn't saying buy it. It was not a sponsorship, because I was not saying buy it. There was no TSR Sports promo code. It was just, hey, this product coming out. So I guess that's a difference. I wasn't pushing a product. It was just so this is coming out if you're interested type thing. But I would accept a San Antonio Spurs sponsorship. Come on, that's my team. Don't see it happening ever. But you never know. Stranger things happen. Oh, did I mute my TV? No, I didn't. All right, second half. You know what's going to happen? They're going to start the second half, and I've already missed like 10 or 15, maybe 20 seconds of the third quarter. The NBA is notorious with the NBA app for starting a quarter already like in play. Hey, Coyote's going to go for a huge thunder dunk of justice. He's off the trampoline. It's in extreme slow motion. Up and at him, through the legs, and jammed it home. Coyote thunder dunk. Nice emoji, butterfly. Well, spur of the moment. I mean, that would be the ultimate dream, is for any sports channel to be sponsored by the team they cover. I mean, I don't know how they would sponsor me. Like, how would I just buy a Spurs jersey or go shop at HEB? I don't even know what would happen. Wow, Milwaukee's beating the Pacers 143-120. They still have 4.5 minutes to go. Anyway, third quarter's underway. Spurs have the ball down by 2. Champagne goes for a huge dunk, blows it. Way too much traffic in front of him to finish that. Sorry, sir, Michael Jordan, you are not. There is an Air Jordan movie coming out. I don't think I would pay to see it, but it seems intriguing because love him or hate him, the basketball shoe world, sneakers changed with Air Jordans. That just changed the industry completely, and they still sell to this day. He's making more money now than he did back when he played. Trey Jones running their paint, bling bang boo, in and out burger, and it is jazz ball. Hey Luke, how you doing? It's been a while. It's been a good game. As they turn away, Zach Collins misses the shot in the paint. Or sorry, the Jazz missed a shot. Trey Jones down the other way, gets rejected. You gonna call goaltending? Hope you're doing well, Luke. What made me being a Spurs fan? David Robinson. That was a goaltend. I was actually, let me phrase that. Grew up in a New York household, was not a Giants fan yet. Discovered David Robinson when I was a youth, and just became a Spurs fan. Shortly after I became a Giants fan. Joe, go Spurs, go to you. Losing the number 1 pick in 97. I mean, we didn't, but if we did. Toscano Anderson with the bucket in the paint. Little jumper, good. They do a ton of HEB, Butterfly. They like the HEBs. HEB to the B, B to B to the B, B, B to the dang, 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 to do, 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 do. Julian Champagne with the bar right now. Gets it out to Micah Branham. Branham going to drive. Throws it up off the glass. Bounces off the rim. And then we still got a tie game. Nice back and forth game. Thank you, Joe. Get those thumbs up. At 50 is a goal. With the Spurs struggling, just 50 on the live stream is a goal now. When the Spurs were relevant, it was 200. Then it became 150. Then 100. Now we're down to 50. But, my friends, we'll get it back. We draft Wemby. Oh, forget it. Zach Collins in the paint. Loses the ball. And gets it back. A little turnaround jump is good. Jump hook. And the Spurs are back up by 2. Oh, yes, they did. The Spurs were the 3rd worst team when they won the number 1 overall pick, which Spurs fans can lightning strike twice If San Antonio is the third worst team in the NBA this season, could he end up with the number 1 overall pick? THT in the paint with the jumper. And Talon Horton-Tucker having an incredible night for the Utah Jazz. Malachi Brandon for 3 air ball. Air ball. That's a lot of air. We've had a lot of air balls tonight. Simone Fontecchio drives to the paint, loses the ball out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Jazz. Ooh, I'm 8 seconds behind. What am I doing wrong here? Get with the program, Rich. Jazz ball. Kessler with the inbounds reception, if you will. Passes it out, and that three-pointer is good. Ochai, I can't say his name. Ochai with the 3. There you go. Spurs down by 3, 71-68. Julian Champagnie for 3. And he's having a rough night. I don't think he's made a shot tonight. I think he's 0 for everything. THT with the ball right now. Drives. He's running around with the ball. Gets back to the paint. Kicks it out. Toscano Anderson now with the ball. Crossover dribble into the paint. Pull-up jumper. Off the rim. And finally rolls in. Jazz back up by 5. Are the Spurs third all-time in wins, considering that we didn't start until 73? There's some organizations around longer than us. Not too bad. KBD goes backdoor, gets the reverse layup. Good, 73-70. Been a fairly... I don't want to say anything. Not a lot of those, which is good. You guys know I hate to see a free throw fest. I absolutely hate it. Let him play. Hibachi into the paint. As soon as I said it, he's going to be fouled and looks like he's going on the line for 2. Every time. Shouldn't have said anything. Dang it. Biscuits and gravy. If you only knew the power of the dark side. Episode 26 of The Ring of the Roll is out. I still need to watch episode 1 through 25. I was saving them up. I'm going to watch them all at once. I am so far behind now. A sandwich is playing tonight, Joe. Lucas Samanic, former San Antonio Spur great. Played decent in limited action. Couldn't stay out of foul trouble. But overall, looked like an NBA player. Which is a compliment to him because he has struggled to stay in the NBA. Malachi Brandon fakes the 3, pulls it down, drives to the paint. Pull-up jumper is in and out. Kessler with the rebound. Jazz ball up by 5. A little under 8 minutes to go. THT out in three-point land. Gets a pick and roll. Starts to drive. Bounce pass to Kessler. No good. Missed the layup in the paint. Spurs ball. Sandwich does have 4, 2, and 4. Ball's going to go out of bounds. It'll stay with San Antonio. Mamu will check in for the San Antonio Spurs. KBD will check out. Jazz, I don't believe they're going to have any substitutions. And Spurs fans, I believe this is the last game at the A&TT Center this season. The other 2 home games are at Austin. So this could quite possibly, if he doesn't come back next season, Greg Popovich's last game ever in the A&T Center. Champagnie goes backdoor and gets the layup. Nice dish by Zach Collins. Tanking next season? Gosh, I hope not. More galore. I'm done with the tanking, man. Tired of losing. THT pull-up jumper, no good. Gets fouled, going in line for 2. Now the fouls are starting to come in. But no tanking next season. If they get Wemby or Scoop, no tank. No thank you. Or they could pull a Pistons or Houston and sit them for half the year and tank and try to get another high draft pick. THT at the line for 2. They just said he's 3 of 4 from the line tonight. First free throw is good. 76-72. THT's second free throw, and I believe this will give him 30 if he makes it. Maybe he's got more than 30. I don't know. He's got a lot. Spurs ball. 77, 72, 7-11 on the clock. Trey Jones looking into Zach Collins. Collins in the post. Finally gets the ball. 12 on the shot clock. Collins gets double teams. And we'll throw the ball away, but it's going to stay with the Spurs as it bounced off a Jazz player. Pop could retire. I don't know. And yes, if we get Wemby, we're not going to tank. No chance. The end of the road is near for Greg Popovich. I just don't know if it's this year, next year. Could it be 2 more years? Zach Collins into the paint. Looks like he traveled, but he didn't. Drives into the paint now and throws it up off the glass. That was ugly looking, but it worked. Oh, did they pounding that? I didn't know that. Poppy's going into the Hall of Fame. You're correct, Soul. Traveling on the Jazz. Spurs ball down 77-74. We have a timeout. Spurs missing a lot of players tonight. The Jazz missing a lot of players tonight. But it's been a close game, nonetheless. Oh, Soul, come on now. Don't say that. Come on now. Don't be a hater. That's harsh. I mean, you're right. I don't want to say it. Come on now. Come on, man. Come on, man. Anybody need any LASIK? Plus, there's a commercial. I wear contacts. I cheat. I don't know if you guys knew that. I wear contacts. I do have to occasionally put readers on now. I'm old, 45. Only for Magic the Gathering, though. Magic the Gathering, in the last few years, has decided on their cards to cram as much text as physically possible on them. So the text is so tiny and crammed in. Sometimes I have to pull out the readers. I'm like, what the hell does it say? Because with the contacts, they just don't focus when things are up that close like that. Peter Allen, Lucas Sandwich play tonight. If we have second or third pick, who should we get? Going Scoot Henderson. I like Trey Jones. I don't think he's the answer at point guard long term. I would go Scoot. That'll give us a starting lineup of Scoot Henderson, Devin Vassell, Kelvin Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, and more than likely Zach Collins. Not going to be a great team. Might even be a lottery team again. But we'd be headed in the right direction. But if we were lottery, it'd be late lottery, like 12, 13, 14, like we were previously. And that's what's tough. When your team is, I mentioned this, the Dallas Cowboys is the perfect example. When your team is good enough to make the playoffs every year, but not bad enough to get a high draft pick. And you're just kind of in limbo every single year. I don't want to get into that mode. You don't like Sohan as power forward? Or do you not think Jeremy is a true power forward? I mean, he's shown a lot of tremendous growth this year. But I understand if you prefer, or would you prefer Jeremy at small forward? Some folks have talked about having Jeremy run kind of a point forward and be our starting point guard. I don't know about that, but it would definitely give us a huge lineup if we were to draft Victor Wembanyama and we had Collins, Wembanyama, Johnson, Vassell, and Sohan out there. Do you see Brenham or Wesley continue with us in the next following? I hope they continue to progress and develop. And if all those guys hit that we drafted this year, well, last year, that would be incredible. Jeremy Sohan, Malachi Branham, and Blake Wesley, if they all become longtime Spurs, then 2022 would turn into one of the best drafts ever, especially if some of those guys end up helping us win a championship. Zach Collins is a good center. He's played pretty well as replacing Jakob. I did a video on it. His numbers have been very good. He's a little inconsistent, but heck, our whole team is. Mama with the ball right now, 10 on the shot clock, going to pull up for a jumper, and we have a foul away from the ball. As soon as I said there's been barely any whistles, there's been multiple fouls. Maybe David Robinson come out of retirement and Tim Duncan? No, maybe? No? I don't think so. Spurs ball. Devontae Graham will get it into Trey Jones, so we've got 2 point guards on the floor. Okay. Brandon with the ball. Guarded by Luka Samanic. Gets it over to Mamu for 3. That is no good. Mamu's 3-point shooting has left a lot to be desired. I will say that. It's not shot well from 3, especially lately. THT will kick it out to Samanic. Samanic for 3. Ooh, that was close. In and out. It is Spurs ball under 6 minutes to go. Turnaround jumper is no good for Branham. Samanic, I think, with another foul. Only Sohan? I originally thought Kelvin, possible future All-Star. I'm starting to back off on that. I like Kelvin. I wish him the best. Malachi Branham at the line for 2, missed the first one. I just don't. I don't know, man. He's not a good defender. He's extremely hot and cold. When he's on, he's on. When he's off, then he's just throwing bricks up there. He's either shooting a 3 or putting his head down, driving the paint. His offense has gotten a little one-dimensional this year. Or I guess two-dimensional. Anyway. Easy, wide open, alley-oop dunk for Auduka. As the Spurs defense is just not good. You're going to trade Calvin? You're not alone. A lot of Spurs fans are ready to see him go, Joshua. Ball's going to be poked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Spurs. 5:24 to go. 79-75. Spurs down by 4. Can we get anything for Kelvin? I'd hate to see him go. I have his jersey, but it is what it is. Team first, player second. I'm not sure how much we could get for him. You thinking Keldon and a late first-round pick to move up in the draft? Because don't we have the Bulls' first-round pick this year? I totally forgot about that when I did my mock draft. We have 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks? I'm tired of the screaming. Yeah, that's gotten old. I'm not going to lie. Now another foul! So the ball's inbounded. The screaming, I'm done with the screaming too. He does have a lot in his contract, so I don't think he's going to be very tradable. Uh-oh, this under is not looking good. Duncan, it's not. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, Duncan. I saw Steven. I thought maybe your first name was Steven, but it's Duncan. KJ definitely worth the first-round pick. It would be a late first-round pick, though. And Devontae Graham tries to get into Zach Collins, and the Spurs turn the ball over. Samanic going to launch a 3. He just unleashed the sandwich on us, Spurs fans. Unleash the sandwich. Former San Antonio Spurs, look at Samanic. Drops a 3 on us. Devontae Graham misses a 3. Jazz ball. Extra smooth, dude. Good evening to you. Freaking sandwich. THT drives in the paint. Throws it up. No good. And an offensive foul on the Jazz. Yes, it is. That's his first foul. Put his shoulder down. And they're going to call the charge on that. We'll take a turnover. We're down by 7. Shoot. We're down by 7 already. Zach Collins with the ball guarded by the sandwich master. Collins over to Mamu. Mamu's going to launch another 3. Finally! Makes a 3. He was like 0 for 3 at that point. Hey, Jimenez. Good evening. And a... Wow, THT drives hard into the paint, throws it up, and the bucket is good. Nice drive and finish. That was a difficult shot. Romeo Langford, backdoor, layup, good. 84-80, 4 minutes to go. This has been a pretty good game. I gotta say I'm surprised. Wow, the Lakers are giving it to the Bulls again, up by like 15. THT for 3. How many points does he have now? Like 35? His career high is 40, which he's closing in on. Devontae Graham with a nice ball fake, but can't finish in the paint. And the Jazz throw the ball up into the stands, going for an alley-oop. It'll be Spurs ball on the turnover, 87-80. At least we're competing tonight. We got that going for us, Spurs fans. And if there's a Jazz fan in the chat, thank you for being here. I don't think there is. Jazz are another one of those teams just every year, just in limbo. No spur in the moment? No, they don't. As KBD gets in there for the Thunder Dunk of Justice. Thunder. I can't play the song because that's copyrighted. That's a miss for the Jazz. Didn't see who was shot that because I was goofing around with the Thunder. Spurs ball. Romeo Langford drives baseline. Into the paint. Pull up Jay, bounces around, no good. Lucas Sandwich with the rebound. Jazz ball. up by 5. Under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. THT having a hell of a game. Drives into the paint. Launches it in, and an easy wide open dunk for Damian Jones. Darwin. Spurs ball. Langford's going to drive in the paint. Out to KBD. 12 on the shot clock. KBD back out. Graham fakes to 3 and then throws it out of bounds. Guess he expected a cutter there, and there was nobody, as we're going to have a timeout. 89-82. 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. All right. Anyway, hopefully everybody's having a good night. We are getting close to 50 thumbs up. If you could hit the thumbs up, would appreciate you. It's fast, free, fun, nutritious, and delicious. And it looks like that. If you ain't down with that, turn north! Yeah, I screwed that up. I double tapped my button. I'll admit it. I'm not perfect, man. I'm not perfect. Leave me alone. Tried so hard to call the game. But we went to a commercial break. The Spurs are down 7, and that's a lot. If they lose, it'll be too much to take. I don't know. That was off the top of my head. Come on. Get a little credit for freestyling that. It's weird having an NBA pass and constantly getting bombarded with commercials. Over and over and over. MTG Arena. I don't play Arena. I do not play Standard or Modern or whatever's on Arena. I play Commander, which I don't believe is on Arena yet. Latino Lantern. It's my favorite format. I have a ridiculous 78 Commander decks built. Stopping at 78. I just don't have room for any more. But I did try Arena. I played Brawl a little bit. When I tried to play my friends, they were buying cards, and I was just going with the free stuff, and I just would always get annihilated, and it became very unfun. Next time I go live, spur of the moment, I'm going to try to go live for the Golden State Warriors and Spurs Friday night. That's a 10 p.m. Eastern game. But I want to try to call as many games remaining of the season because I miss so many games, and even though the Spurs can be tough to watch at times, I enjoy hanging out with you guys, just chilling and watching the game. And I know, somebody mentioned earlier in the stream, man, your views are way down. Like, I know they are. The team is losing. They're not playing any starters. Interest is at an all-time low in the team. But we will get a top 2 draft pick. And good times are coming for the Spurs in my channel. Historic Brawl. Are you a big MTG Arena guy, Latino Lantern? I don't have it installed anymore. I do use Spell Table. So I still have my Wizards login. Spell Table is how I play Magic the Gathering over webcam with friends. And that's a really cool app that started during 2020 because of the P to the A to the N to the Demic. So that's been a blessing. So I can play with friends in Virginia and Georgia, Massachusetts, with me living in Connecticut, Maine. So I play with friends that are kind of spread out on the East Coast. The Spurs can win the rest of their games, Kenneth, and it doesn't matter? No kidding. I don't think they're going to win the rest of their games, but I didn't realize it doesn't matter at this point. So they couldn't finish worse than third if they won out. Samanic drives into the paint in a huge collision. We're going to have a whistle. And that's going to go against the Spurs. All right, Samanic just beat Red. Good evening, Zach. Crashed into Romeo Langford, and they called the foul on Langford. Blocking. I guess he was moving. Samanic at the line for 2. Sandwich's first free throw is good. Samanic with 7 points tonight, I think. 7 or 8? I don't know. Something like that. Second free throw is good. He's looked pretty good tonight. Except for the foul trouble. Lucas Samanic looking better than he did when he was in San Antonio, which isn't saying much. Spurs ball, Devontae Graham out to Mamu. Mamu going to fake the 3, pulls it down, drives to the paint. And a flying layup through the paint is good. 91-84, 2 minutes remaining. 3 fouls on both teams. Hopefully it stays that way. It's in the end of the quarter. And it is Jazz ball. Chris Dunn, little pick and roll, drives into the paint. Dunn, pull-up jumper. little bit short. And KBD with the rebound gets it to Devontae Graham. Graham will bring it up the court. Drives into the paint. Off-balance layup is good. Spurs down by 5. Rockets up by 3. Let's go, Peter. Go, Houston. Get him! Chris Dunn out on three-point land. 12 on the shot clock. Starts to drive into the paint. The runner. In and out Burger. The putback by Dunn is good, though. Nice shot by Chris Dunn, staying with it. Let's go Rockets, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Wow. KBD will drive in the paint. Gets the layup off the glass. Good. Spurs down by 5. And it's been a close game all night, at least. Under 1 minute to go. Yes, Zach, I agree. What goes up must come down, and they were good for decades. Sonic for 3, no good. And Romeo Langford will get the rebound. And it's Spurs ball. 40 seconds to go. Devontae Graham out on three-point land. 14 on the shot clock. 5-point lead. 93-88 Jazz up. Langford will drive in the paint. Throws it up. Back iron. No good. Jazz ball. And there's about a 6-second differential between the shot clock and game clock. Chris Dunn will hold on to it out in three-point land with 11 on the shot clock. 8 on the shot clock. 6 on the shot clock. He'll take off. Dishes it out. 2 on the shot clock. Step back 3 is no good by Johnny Jouang. Spurs have a few seconds to get a last shot up. Blake Wesley sprints up the court. And he threw up a layup that went in. I don't think the ball left his hand before the buzzer went off. Is that going to count? Nope. Nope, not a chance. Not going to count, Spurs fans. The ball clearly in his hand. They had the score 93-90 at the end of the third quarter. They're going to take that bucket away. I'm not even going to change it. 93-88. No doubt the ball is still in his hand. If you let go of it like 0.2 seconds earlier, the layup is good. Nah, they're going to take that away. But a good game. 5-point game. How do you feel about Waller wearing 12? I mean, I actually didn't know that was the number he was going to wear, Zach. Jarence Walker. See, I don't know enough about the guys after the first few picks. And I know it's Wemby, Brandon, Scoot, the Thompson brothers. I don't know if they're twins. After that, I really don't know a lot about any of the guys. Because we could draft anywhere from 3rd to as low as 7. Man, 7 would be rough. I mean, you could get a really good player with the 7th overall pick. But being the 3rd worst team in the NBA as it stands right now, we could finish the 2nd worst team. But if we finish the 3rd worst team and we were to get the 7th overall pick and have 4 teams leapfrog us, that would be brutal. That would suck. Wow. Spurs fans would be livid, I got to think. Yeah, just livid. Just livid. What number did Waller wear in Oakland? Did he wear 12? I mean, I'm indifferent when it comes to numbers. It's whatever. Commercial break. We should be starting the 4th Q any moment now. And we got a good game. As this again is the Spurs' last home game in the AT&T Center this year. The other 2 home games they will play in the Austin Spurs Arena, which is the HEB Center, I think it's called. I think it's HEB Center. Good evening, Bear. He was 82. Huh. So I'm not a big fan, just in general, though, of tight ends and wide receivers having numbers in the teens. Because for so long, they were always in the 80s. And they were stuck in the 80s, for that matter. And now seeing a lot of players wear 17, 18, 19, 12 on their jerseys just feels weird at the wideout position or tight end position. The lottery would be more exciting than draft. Yeah, Joshua. Probably. Because that's the make or break. If you get the 1st overall pick for the Spurs, you already know who they're drafting, barring something weird happening. Likely drafting Victor. If they were to draft 6th or 7th, depending on their final position. Oh, of course, NBA Pass comes back to the game already going on. You know, if they were to draft 6th or 7th, that would just be a nightmare. Oh boy. Blake Wesley into the paint. Gets blocked. It is Jazz ball 93-88. We are here in the fourth quarter. If you are just stopping by, have not hit the thumbs up yet, we're trying to get the 50 thumbs up, but only you can make that happen. And only you can prevent forest fires. Chris Dunn in the paint throws it up. No good. Fouled. Going on the line for 2, and we'll get my clock approved. Or get my clock fixed. 0 has been approved. Really? 0? Oh, that's going to be weird. Good evening, Kyle. Thank you for stopping in. 2 free throws for Chris Dunn. First free throw is good. Your Lakers are beating the Bulls. Your Rockets, I believe, are also beating whoever they're playing. The Nets. Deep down, you're still a Rockets fan. Don't act like you're not. Can take you out of the Rockets, but can't take the Rockets out of you. 95-88. Spurs been down most of this game by about 5 to 7 points. Romeo Langford with the ball over to you. Oh, no, Romeo back with the ball. Never mind. Romeo going to drive. Throws up a high layup off the rim. No good. Dominic Barlow with the offensive board. Spurs offense will reset with 10 on the shot clock. Wesley. Kickball on the Jazz. Good evening, Jesse. I was going to say punters or kickers wearing 0. That's kind of what popped in my head. Doesn't it feel weird to be both, though, when they're in the same conference? What if they were to play each other in the playoffs next year? Who would you root for? I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can like every team in the Western Conference. You should be a Spurs fan, too. Because we need fans right now. KBD with the runner in the paint off the glass. In and out burger for KBD. And it is Jazz ball up by 7. Wide receivers can wear 0. I just don't want to see a player wearing 7. That's like a wide receiver. That just feels weird. Or 1. Lucas Sandwich with the ball. Gets it over to Walker Kessler. Kessler. 4 on the shot clock. Kessler into the post. Drives on a Barlow. Throws it up. And in with a little baby layup. This ties the biggest lead of the game for the Jazz. Up by 9. 97-88. Langford, what a beautiful fake, and then he gets rejected, and I think we're going to have a goaltend. Yes, we are. Jones with the goaltend for the Jazz. Romeo, what a beautiful pump fake, though they have Walker Kessler just all sorts of faked out. It's a nice job, Romeo. Romeo, where art thou for Romeo? Well, you're on the court right now. Playing okay tonight. Gotcha, Zach. Jazz ball. THT is not in the game. Going for a career high tonight. He's very close to it. I think he'll be back in at some point. Johnny Zuzang with the runner in the paint. And then Jazz back up by 9. Spurs just been kind of hanging around that 5 to 7 to 9 digit deficit, but have not been able to really overcome it at all. Now travel by Blake Wesley. Imagine being a Texans fan. Kyle, aren't you a Texans fan? You don't have to imagine it. Man, that franchise has been very dysfunctional the last few years. Just nothing good happening at all. Lots of questionable moves on the roster. Just a disaster. Sandwich with the ball into the paint. Sandwich with the layup. No good. Walker Kessler with the putback. That is. And 1. Biggest lead of the game for the Jazz. They're up by 11. Browns destroy the quarterback market. Yeah. Rockets must have looked up at the Spurs score. Why are they losing now, Joshua? Are the Rockets down by 10 or something? They throw in the game? Spurs down by 12, and that is the biggest lead of the game for the Jazz, as the wheels are slowly falling off in the fourth quarter for our San Antonio Spurs. Devontae Graham with the ball. Gets it over to Blake Wesley. Wesley going to toss it out and turn the ball over. Toss it to Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn is not on your team, Blake. Jazz ball, 16 on the shot clock. Offense will reset. Zhang will get into the post, and they'll kick it out to Dunn for 3. Dunn's going to take the 3. Dunn's going to make the 3. Timeout. And the Spurs are down by 15. It was close for most of the game. Dude, I love that clip. Me and my friends were saying that before it actually became a thing. It was such a great clip. I didn't make a meme or anything out of it, but I was just when it finally became like a meme, I was like, hey, I use that one. One of the few things I guess I've been ahead of the curve on. Probably the biggest thing, while we're in a commercial break, the biggest thing I've been ahead of the curve on when it comes to something that's popular, The Rock. If I haven't shared this story with before, I'm going to share it with you now. If you heard it before, well, you're going to hear it again. I stopped watching the WW then F for a while, and when I came back, Rocky Maivia, as he was then known, had just become The Rock. I think the week I started watching was his first time as The Rock. So I didn't see all the Rocky sucks, all the Rocky Maivia hate, etc. I didn't know anything about that. I just turned on Raw and I was like, I like this guy. He's kind of cocky, talking to the third person. Why does everybody hate him? Didn't get it. So I instantly became a fan. I called the People's Elbow the Sucky Elbow for a while because it didn't have a name. So I just called it the Sucky Elbow. I was rooting for him in his feuds with Austin when most people were rooting against him. I didn't get why so many people hated him. I missed the entire Rocky Sucks era. So that's the one thing in my life where I like something that nobody liked, and then eventually everybody likes. So that's kind of cool. I like sharing that story because it was just by chance I started watching Raw again right when he became The Rock. He gave a painting of himself to the Nation of Domination, gave Rolex watches to the Nation of Domination, and then Farouk, the leader of the Nation, a portrait of himself. I'm like, I love this guy. He's such a cocky jerk. I don't know. Why JC always none in the game? We talking about Jesus? I hope my Rockets or well, Kyle, haven't you guys had a top 5 pick like the last 3 seasons? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the Rockets have been getting some top picks the last few years. I could be totally wrong on that. They just said the Jazz are on a 12-2 run. That's why the Spurs are down by 15. I've approved all sportsbook and Sam's that is legal. Wow. You have a Harden Rockets jersey and an 80 Lakers jersey. Interesting. James Harden, a certain Hall of Famer for sure. Is he ever going to get a ring, though, before he retires? I don't know. Not looking good. It is Spurs ball down by 15 now. And it had been about 5 to 7 points the whole game, but classic fourth quarter Spurs. KBD misses the 3. Julian Champagny with the rebound. KBD with the ball again, 8 on the shot clock. KBD calling for a pick and roll with Devontae. Nope, just gets the ball to Devontae Graham and throws the ball away. Jazz ball on the turnover. Zach Conley checking back in for San Antonio. We've seen this far too often this year with our San Antonio Spurs. Competitive in the first 2 quarters, the first 3 quarters, and then the wheels fall off at some point. Keith, Milwaukee put up 149 tonight? Shut the front door. Dang. Corner 3 is good. Wow. Abaji with the three-pointer, and the Spurs are now down by 18. This fourth quarter has been oogly. Trey Jones with the ball for San Antonio. Gets it out to Devontae Graham. Graham pull-up jumper. In and out. And in! Oh, boy. Well, we got to 50 thumbs up, my friends. We got to 1,000 views, I believe, and 50 thumbs up. We'll take it with this team struggling. So thank you very much to everybody who hung out tonight. 16-point game. Drive and a miss by Owaji, but Kessler with the putback. And I don't think THT's checking back in the game. He was on his way to possibly 50. He might be out. Might just sit the rest of the game. The Jazz being up 18. I say the Spurs might go to their bench, but the bench players actually started today. Zach Collins turnaround jump put good. 110.94. They've not gotten number 1. They've got number 2. Okay. The under can still hit. What's the over-under on this game? 220 something? I have not seen the Jordan Air movie spur of the moment, but it looks good. I mean, say what you will about Michael Jordan. He definitely changed marketing for the NBA, for sports. I mean, the Air Jordans. Sometimes I dream. Oh, geez, like Mike, Gatorade. Just a marketing juggernaut back in the day. A drive and Zwang with the jumper in the paint. Still an 18-point game, 6.5 minutes to go. Good evening, Edgar. Thank you for stopping in. It was a close game all night. Not so much anymore. Once a Spur, always a Spur. That's right, Butterfly. I got to get signed by the Spurs for like 1 second, and then they'll cut me. And I can say once a Spur, always a Spur for me too. Baji with a terrible shot. That's a brick. And then Spurs try to go fast break, and Champagne turns it over. And we're going to have another timeout, as I think we might see the benches emptied. Granted, most would say the benches were already emptied with starting lineups, as we had clear bench players starting. I mean, Julian Champagne, no disrespect, started for the Spurs tonight. He's not a starter at all. You know, you smell what I'm cooking. Nobody made themselves, you mean not expendable? No. Everybody that played tonight showed they're expendable. There's really no positives to take from this game. Not many. I don't know if you guys go to SpursTalk.com. He generally does daily grades on the games. And his grading versus the Celtics was rough, which it should have been. I mean, there was not a lot to be positive about. And at the very least, what you want to see from the Spurs is maybe a surprise development at the end of this point of the season. Somebody steps up. Somebody just shows you that they have something going into the next season. But unfortunately, with all these blowout losses, we're not really seeing guys that make you go, well, you're going to be a starter for the roster sooner than later. And the guys that were doing that, particularly Jeremy Sohan's injured and not playing. You know what? Joshua, I didn't even see you say it in the chat, but exactly. This is where you want to see somebody take the bull by the horns. And you just said, that's what I just said. Somebody step up. You know, Mamu had a few moments, but lately he's had flashes, but his shooting has been not so good. Will Chamberlain did score 100 points and slept with 10,000 women. It's quite a stat. Supposedly, he scored 100 points. He definitely slept with 10. I don't know. I'm glad I went live tonight. I know it was a small crowd, but you know what? The cool thing about the small crowds is it's the diehard Spurs fans that come in. You guys that support the channel no matter what, that want to support the Spurs no matter how good or bad they are, and we're certainly on the bad side of things right now. And it was tough doing this game tonight because I was hella sick last night and a lot of today. I'm hoping a good night's sleep tonight will get me back to 100%. I was supposed to go on my Xbox possibly after this game, but I think I'm just going to call it a night. Go to bed. I mean, rest, getting healthy is much more important than gaming. Infinitely more important than gaming. The game will always be there. I don't mean Triple H, but the game. Well, maybe I do mean Triple H. Triple H, you're here, right? Triple H?
Sucker!
But, yeah, I'll always be able to video game at some point during the week when your health, that's got to come first. It does, Zach. I can talk to people more. That's true. When our biggest live stream we've had on the channel was the NBA draft last year, and that was clearly pushed by Kai Soto, which I didn't realize he can't enter the draft this year because he wasn't drafted last year. That sucked. I was like, oh, he can't enter the draft. So there's not a lot I can do to talk about him because covering Kai helped grow the channel. I want to cover more Victor stuff, but I think I'm covering the draft a little too early, so I might push draft content more towards after the regular season's over. All right, Duncan, interesting. I've never had that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Is that a mixed drink? It sounds like it. Peach crown with raspberry lemonade. All right, well, back to the game with 15 seconds run off the clock, apparently, while we're in a commercial break. Spurs got most of their starters in there, so I guess they're going to try to make one final push. Trey Jones, 4 on the shot clock, pull-up mid-range jumper. Good. Lemon-flavored bleach. Good evening. THT's checked back in for the Jazz, trying to get that 40-point, beat that career-high 40-point game he has on his resume. He's going to take a 3 right now. No good. Jazz get the rebound. Samanic in there for the Spurs. They get it back to THT. THT drives, gets it out to Chris Dunn. Back to THT and launches to 3. That one's in. He's got 39. His career high is 40. So Taylor Horton-Tucker 1 point away from tying his career high. If he hits any type of basket whatsoever, then he's going to eclipse it. And it looks like the Nets are beating the Rockets, or did beat the Rockets. Mamu for 3, no good. And Luka Samanic with the rebound. Speaking of cocaine, Chris Dunn launches it over to Samanic, and it's going to be a turnover. Go, Scoot, go. I'm more of a Wemby guy. What do you think of DC, Zach? It's got some nice areas, and it's got some not so nice areas. Mamu with the ball right now. Spurs down by 19. Throws it up, and another miss for Mamu. Not having a particularly strong game. THT launches a mile-long 3. No good. Come on, dude. I know you want to get a career high, but take a good shot. Mamu with the thunder dunk of justice as the Spurs go on a fast break. Spurs have had a few dunks tonight, which means Luka Samanic turns the ball over. Try to get it to Udoka. Spurs on a fast break again. Trey Jones layup. Good. Spurs going for the ultimate comeback here. Down by 15 with 3.5 minutes to go. Don't you give up. Don't you ever give up. Chris Dunn into the paint. And we're going to have turnover by Udoka. It's going to be Spurs ball. Okay. Oh, so you're in a good area. Okay, Zach. That's cool. Spurs down by 15, looking for one final push. It's the final countdown. I'm way too sick to be doing that. And even when I'm clear, I shouldn't be doing that. Branham in the paint gets the layup. Is that an and one? Might be a foul before the shot. Nope, and one. All right, Spurs making a little bit of a comeback here at the end of the game. Yes, Southeast DC is not your friend. That's a rough section of DC. No disrespect to anybody that lives there, but it is what it is right now. Spurs playing a full court press. Get the ball to Samanic. Samanic in the paint. And Udoka wide open for an easy dunk. 117-103. 3 minutes to go. It's been a while since I called the whole Spurs game, since they're usually getting blown out. Trey Jones runner in the paint, no good. Put back by Zach Collins is good. Yeah, Phil, it's been like that with the Spurs a lot this year. Competitive until the fourth. THT in the paint. Fade away. Career high 41. Congratulations to THT. Thought he was going to go for 50 tonight. Branham drives. Misses the layup at the rim. We're going to have a foul, though. Yeah, going on a trips with a friend is much better than alone. Though I enjoyed my stay in Texas. Granted, I went alone, but I really wasn't alone much. I mean, I was at the games. I saw a lot of subscribers here and there, so it was cool. Brandon at the line for 2 shots. First one's good. If you're bad, car wreck, that's 4. Freaking ambulance chasers, I hate them. Yes, I believe so, Phil. A lot of players have gotten a career high against the Spurs. You might be right. You see Samanic playing well tonight. The Sandwich Master actually playing pretty well. Debut with the Jazz against the Spurs. What the hell? Potter? I don't even know who that is. But he just hit a 3 on the Spurs, and that's going to pretty much ice the game. 15 points. Trey Jones going to launch a 3. Not exactly his strong suit. The tanking thing is over now for the next decade. Yeah, right, Kenneth? We're done tanking. Next season's going to start winning some games, dang it. Chris Dunn just threw the ball up like he was going for an alley-oop. There was no alley and no oop. 2 minutes remaining Brandon for 3. Good. Well, you know, if the Spurs get it to single digits, we'll take that as a moral victory if they lose by like 8. Spurs playing a full court pressing in. Trey Jones' mama putting some pressure on. Jazz beat the press. And Chris Dunn out in three-point lane with 8 on the shot clock. Looking for a pick and roll with Luka. Over to Luka. Luka's going to launch a long 3. No good. Zach Collins with the rebound. Spurs only have a minute and a half to make something happen. Mamu for 3. Finally makes a 3. I think. And now the Spurs with a steal. Malachi Branham with the thunder dunk of justice. We're down by 7. And almost another steal with the full court press. And now the Jazz throw the ball. Oh, we might have a foul. We're going to have a defensive foul. The Jazz threw the ball away, but the Spurs get hit with a defensive foul. 122 to 115. It's getting interesting here at the end. Spurs trying to make something of it here. All right. I think him getting out. Are you talking about the Sandwich Master, Phil? Him getting out? It had to have been because of his lack of effort. But yeah, he was definitely on a tight leash. I agree 100% there. Jazz ball up by 7. Chris Dunn into the paint. We're going to have another foul. Maybe they should press more. Kristen press. Kristen prayers. Trey Jones on the bench looks exhausted. Chris Dunn's at the line for 2. Maybe Kenneth? Wait, Lemon Flare Bleach. Other YouTube channels say the people's names, don't they? Did you just read the comments and don't say who's saying them? I always try to acknowledge. I mean, if somebody's just listening and not reading in the chat, then I want people to know who I'm talking to. Mamu for 3. In and out. It's going to go out of bounds. It'll stay Spurs ball. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, Spurs fans. What did the spread of this game get beat? Wasn't it like 228 or something? Spurs get the ball in bounds. Mamu with the ball. Turned it over. Fast break. And the layup is good for Johnny Zwang. And that's going to be the game. Well, we kept it close for 3 quarters. That's something. I mean, it wasn't a terrible game to watch at least. We didn't lose by 44. Mamu with the ball. We'll get it over to Blake Wesley. Back to Mamu. Mamu thinks about the 3. Pulls it down. Drives to the paint. Gets it to Don Barlow. Don Barlow with the thunder dunk of justice. Wasn't a very big dunk. 9-point game. Jazz just holding on to the ball right now. About a 7-second differential between the shot clock and game clock. Johnny Zhang with the ball. Into the paint. Runner. Good. Come on, Spurs. Get it in single digits. We're down by 11 on that. Are we going to take a shot? Nope. Yeah, we lost by double digits. Well, dang it. Gorgie Zhang it. What's that? 6 losses in a row for the Spurs? An extremely depleted Jazz versus an extremely depleted San Antonio Spurs. All right, normally I go over the stats at the end of games. My friends, I mentioned earlier, other channels say your name only if you super chat. Really? That shouldn't be like that. But anyway, I'm still not feeling well, so I'm going to call it a night. So I need to get some rest. I want to thank you all for hanging out tonight. And if you haven't hit the thumbs up, please hit it on the way out. It does help the channel. And that's all I got. So until next time, what you going to do with TSR Sports runs wild on you. Go Spurs, go!